I see you. I see.
I bring it down like.
I see you. I see.
I bring it down like.
Lofi Poli Sci, Michael the Green, bringing it down all lo-fi like with what's going on in the world today. And a little lo-fi local for you up top, real quick, people. Don't forget, every Thursday, Lofi Poli Sci's weekly blog drops on lofipolisci.com. And add us on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn to get all your local lo-fi Season 8 updates, people. You dig, you dig? Now for the latest in dumping nuclear wastewater into the Pacific Ocean. To Japan we go, where it's official. The water that was in the Fukushima nuclear power plant, that the Japanese government said was treated and no longer radioactive, that water has now been dumped into the Pacific Ocean. It's done. And as a byproduct, China has banned all seafood and aquatic product imports from Japan. Yep. Perhaps China is just, they're using us as a way to say, hey, let's see you eat that stuff first, Japan, and then we'll think about it. Which I am curious to see how this plays out. And South Korea is quite upset about all this too, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some similar actions coming up there. We'll let you know, peeps, we'll let you know. And in other news, the group of 5 formerly developing countries that are now really quite developed in many ways. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. A group that joined forces in 2009 during the global recession caused by the West, but they joined forces as a way to build an economic community that wasn't reliant on Western dominance. Well, BRICS, they met last week and announced they're adding 6 more countries to the Union. And who are these 6 new players, you may be asking? Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia, Iran, the UAE. So no more BRICS. We'll have to come up with something new like, well, let me tell you, I tried to put all the letters of all the countries up there, and I was like, out of these 11 letters, I cannot come up with a word. So I'm not making a new acronym, all right? And I'm sure they'll do it themselves, but for now, we're just going to call them BRICS+6. So some really noticeable things about these countries, though. The 11 of them, out of the 200 or so countries in the world, all 11 of these are top 60 economies of the globe as measured by GDP. They represent a large portion of the global population, and they represent a large portion of the global economy, which we'll get into tomorrow's list of top 10 GDP countries. But also noticeably, this group contains regional adversaries in Saudi Arabia and Iran, who, for the past year and a half or so, have been having closed-door meetings to restore diplomatic relations. And if these 2 countries iron out their differences and join forces and are also joining forces with the BRICS+6, game changer, folks. For real. We're watching the global economy shift before our eyes. So eyes open, ears to the ground. Lots going down in dollar signs these days. Now, some real catch-up news from the end of the year in 2022. I know we fell behind, right? 2022 news. Well, we're just finding out about it because, we just are getting the satellite images from Antarctica. You see, we don't have eyes on Antarctica 24/7, people. It's too big, it's too cold for us to watch everything all at once in real time. But we do have satellite images, and they are reviewed after they're taken. But there's a serious time lapse between events and us knowing about it. And in this case, almost an entire year. You see, in 2022, a big piece of sea ice, part of Antarctica, broke apart that almost 10,000 young emperor penguins were on. And they didn't make it. You see, young penguins, their waterproof feathers, they're not fully developed yet. So when the ice broke from melting, the penguins didn't have the feathers to deal with the cold temperatures of the water. Almost 10,000 penguins. To my penguin friends out there, I feel you, my friends. I feel you. Now we're going to leave planet Earth for a cooler cosmic case of splendiferous. To the moon we go. Or rather, India goes. Heck yeah, am I right, people? India landed on the south pole of the moon. Too awesome. You see, the quickest way we all get to space is if we're all actually going, We can't just have a couple countries here and there and a few different companies here and there have a monopoly on space travel. We need diversity up there amongst the stars. And thank you, India, for bringing us one step closer to that Luna Lo-Fi University. I'll be seeing you soon. Yep. And the last piece of something to send you on your way for the day in a new segment called Clickbait, Fact or Fiction. A working title. We'll see how it goes. But this is how it's going to work, peep. I'm going to read a headline, and you got to tell me if this clickbait is, in fact, fact or fiction. You dig? All right. The headline from Reuters News. Uganda bans imports of used clothing from dead people. Uganda bans imports of used clothing from dead people. Is this clickbait fact or fiction? Write in, folks, write in. I need to know. And that's just a snap of what's going on in the world today.
I see.
I bring it down like.
Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Pickering, signing off.